Chapter 5, Lesson 5, the Pythagorean Theorem. You will be able to use the Pythagorean Theorem. In a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. In other words, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b represent the legs of a right triangle. So your legs of the right triangle are where those two lines are perpendicular and form that right angle. So these are your legs, A and B. And C represents the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always diagonal from the right angle, and it is always the longest side. A and B, it doesn't matter which way you label them. So you could have A over here and B here, but C is always the hypotenuse, is always the longest side. But A and B, you can switch whichever leg you want. It doesn't matter. The Pythagorean theorem describes the relationship between the lengths of the legs of the hypotenuse and the hypotenuse for any right triangle. You can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of a side of a right triangle when you know the other two sides. Write an equation you could use to find the length of the missing side of each right triangle, then find the missing length. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So here, it tells us that this is our c value, but if it didn't have c and just had a normal variable like x, I would know it's the hypotenuse because it's across from the right angle. The other two are a and b. It doesn't matter which one is which. So let's start by writing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared is 9, so 9 squared, plus b is 12, so 12 squared equals, and I don't know c squared. So let's solve this equation. 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144. Add them up, and you get 225 equals c squared. To get c by itself, we need to take the inverse of a power of 2, an exponent of 2. We do that by taking the square root. And we get a value of 15. So 15 inches is the length of that side of the triangle. And this only works with right triangles. So letter B, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know c is across from the hypotenuse, across from the right angle. It is the hypotenuse. So this is c. This one's labeled b, so I might as well keep it that way, and a. A is 8, 8 squared plus, we don't know b squared equals, and c is 24, so 24 squared. 8 squared is 64, bring down the plus b squared. 24 squared is 576. Let's get b squared by itself, actually b by itself. First step is to get rid of that 64 by subtracting it. And we get b squared equals 512. To get rid of a square number, we square root it. So square root both sides. So the square root of 512 is 22.627. Rounding to the nearest tens place, we get 22.6, and it would be in meters. That is the length of B. Letter C. The hypotenuse is across from the right angle, and the legs, doesn't matter which is which, are A and B. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We have 24 squared plus 18 squared equals c squared. 24 squared is 576, and 18 squared is 324. Let's rewrite that. This equals c squared. Add those two together. We get 900 even equals c squared. Take the square root, and we get 30 equals c. And this would be in yards. Letter D. Across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, which is c. This is already labeled b. We'll keep it that way. And we'll label the other side a. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Make sure you are writing the formula every single time. It's part of showing your work. A is 3, b I don't know, and c is 8. 3 squared is 9, plus b squared equals 8 squared is 64. Subtract 9 from both sides. B squared equals 55. To get b by itself, we square root both sides. And we get 7.416. Rounding to the nearest tenth, 7.4. And our unit of measure is miles. Letter E. Across from the right angle is our hypotenuse, or C. And then we have A and B. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I don't know what A is. B is 17, and C is 20. A squared plus 17 squared is 289 equals 20 squared, which is 400, minus 289 from both sides. We get a squared equals 111. Square root to get a by itself. And we get a equals 3.3166. Rounded to the nearest tenth is 3.3 centimeters. Letter F. Across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, or C, and then we have A and B. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 12, B is 16, and C is the unknown. 12 squared is 144, plus 16 squared is 256. Equals C squared. Add these two together, we get 400 equals C squared. To get C by itself, we take the square root, and we get 20 equals C. So our answer here is 20 meters. If the sides of a triangle have lengths ABC, units, such that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. So basically, if you reverse the parts of the Pythagorean theorem, you have formed its converse. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem is also true. So for example, our statement is this. If a triangle is a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The converse of that would be, if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. Remember, the largest side is always the hypotenuse. So determine whether each triangle with sides of given lengths is a right triangle. Justify your answer. When it shows justify your answer, it wants you to show your work and prove it is or isn't a right triangle. The longest side is your hypotenuse, or C. The other two, doesn't matter which is which. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're going to plug them into this formula and basically see if it works. So we have 36 squared plus 48 squared equals 60 squared. So 36 squared is 1,296 plus 48 squared is 2,304 equals 60 squared is 3,600. Let's add these two amounts on the left side. 1296 plus 2304 is 3,600. And 3,600 is equal to 3,600. So this is a right triangle. Letter B. The longest side is the hypotenuse, and it doesn't matter the other two. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 4 squared plus 5 squared equals 7 squared. We have 16 plus 25 equals 49. Well, 16 plus 25 is 41. 41 does not equal 45. Please make sure you put a slash .= sign. And this is not a right triangle. Letter C. Longest side is our hypotenuse, and the other two don't matter. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. 25 plus 144 equals 169. Add the two on the left together. We get 169 equals 169. So this is a right triangle. Letter D, our longest side is 41. That's the hypotenuse. And A and B are the legs. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 9 squared plus 40 squared equals 41 squared. 9 squared is 81. 40 squared is, oops, it's in 1. 40 squared is 1,600. And 41 squared is 1,681. Add the two on the left together. We get 1,681 equals 1,681. This is a right triangle. Letter E. 12 is the longest length. That is C, the hypotenuse. And then A and B are our legs. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 5 squared plus 10 squared equals 12 squared. 5 squared is 25. 10 squared is 100. 12 squared is 144. Add the two on the left. 125 equals 144. It does not equal 144. Therefore, this is not a right triangle. Letter F, the longest side is 125. That's the hypotenuse. The two legs are 30 and 122. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 30 squared plus 122 squared equals 125 squared. 30 squared is 900 plus 122 squared is 14,884. And 125 squared is 15,625. Add the two numbers on the left, and we get 15,784 does not equal 15,625. Therefore, this is not a right triangle.